The Shure SM7B might actually be the most popular spoken word microphone in the world today. And the problem with it is an expensive investment just for the microphone alone, and that's not including the fact that most cheaper interfaces are going to require an inline preamp of some sort, like a cloud lifter, a Fed head, or the Dynamite DM1 from SE Electronics, to get it up to listenable levels or proper levels for live streaming. If you're, for example, pre-recording something that can then be boosted later in post, you don't necessarily need an inline preamp because you can just boost it in post and crank the gain on your interface itself until you're not hearing any of that noise floor. However, for live content that cannot be boosted, you do need to have some sort of inline preamp to get those levels where they should be, as well as to eliminate the noise floor. So if you're talking about streaming, I see a lot of people who are just starting out in streaming that want to immediately jump up to an SM7B and a cloud lifter and the Go XLR. You don't necessarily need to jump that far anyways, but I want to talk about a much cheaper alternative also from Shure that gets you an extremely similar sound with more presence and clarity than the 7B and just as much of that beautiful boomy proximity effect that everybody loves, the radio broadcast sound. A common complaint that I will hear about the 57 is that it doesn't look as good on camera, but this is an SM57 with 3 of the official Shure accessories. We've got the Shure A26X extension rod with a mic stand adapter. We've got the Shure shock mount, the A55M, as well as the official windscreen, the A2WS. So I think with all this, the total package, this actually looks great on camera. And I think you'll hear as well, not only do they sound very similar, this actually emphasizes a lot of the same strengths that the 7B has, like the proximity effect, the boominess, the power, presence in your voice, whatever you want to call it, and also gives you more clarity. So let's go ahead and swap over. This is connected to the Go XLR, no EQ whatsoever, but I am using a compressor and a noise gate. Let's swap over. I'll show those settings here shortly, and we'll listen back and forth. I think you'll agree. This is an incredible mic, and it retails for $100, whereas this is $400. So enough of the talk. Let's get to the comparison. So now we're on the SM57. This is the exact same compressor and noise gate settings. I haven't changed anything. The gain is a little bit lower. It's about 25 decibels. Plus, I am using a cloud lifter inline. So all in all, we're at about 52, 53 decibels of gain. And I am so impressed with this mic. Every time I connect it up, it's just automatic. I'm monitoring it right now, obviously, but just hearing the difference in the clarity is the main thing. I think there's such a difference in the top end, and at the same time, you can still get that beautiful boomy proximity effect if you speak directly into it. Now, you don't want to do that all the time because you can still get plosives even with this windscreen installed, obviously, but you can actually loosen this, pull it forward about a 1/4 inch, and then tighten it back down just to get a little bit more space there if the plosives are an issue for you, or, you know, that's just how you speak into it. I tend to try to speak across it a little more than directly in to avoid that, but you can do either way. Just depends on the mic mount you're using. But overall, I'm sure you can hear there is just so much clarity. There's a lot of presence. There's a lot of that fundamental emphasis. And, you know, I think with the accessories, it really looks great. You know, this is obviously connected to the PSA 1 Plus, but it's just sleek. It's got a black look to it. You know, if you've got a black XLR cable, it looks so just, you know, sleek is the best way to describe it. You know, it's very, very nondescript, not distracting whatsoever. And it just sounds great. You know, if you want an upgrade from a USB mic, get yourself an interface like a Scarlett Solo, get yourself a UMC22 and this mic with these accessories. You're going to love it, trust me. It is, I almost find that it's more versatile than the 7B because the 7B is obviously more tuned for spoken word or vocals, whereas this can be used for a lot of different things. You know, this is one of the most common snare drum microphones, guitar cab microphones, just about anything that needs to be mic'd up in a recording studio, you can use this. So it's got the versatility, it's got a very similar sound with more clarity, more presence, and the same boominess that everyone loves about the 7B at a fourth of the price. This is $100 MSRP, but you can get these used for much cheaper. I've seen these as low as, you know, 70, 75. A lot of people sell these in bulk because they'll buy a lot and they don't need them around their studio anymore. These can be had for a lot cheaper than 100, but they also go on sale a lot. So if you're looking for that upgrade, again, over a USB mic, go with this. It's just incredible. Every time I use it, I'm so impressed with it. But, save up for the 7B. This is an expensive investment. I'm not saying that no one should get it. I don't want to do the typical YouTuber trope of, here's this expensive mic and here's why you don't need it. But, it's such an expensive investment that, it's something I believe you should save toward and spend the money that you would spend on this elsewhere in your setup. Get better headphones, get another monitor, put it toward a better interface, for example, so that when you do upgrade to this mic, you don't need to get a cloud lifter. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. It's incredible. Get yourself a 57, love it. Grab these accessories if you want it to look great on camera. And that's it. That's my PSA. So get yourself a 57 and love it.